like as part of my energy reduction that I'm trying to do, I've got this. It's like a remote controlled switch in a way for a socket. You plug, that's in a socket there plugged in, and then there's a plug plugged in there, and that's going to this light bulb here, and you control it with a keypad here like radio, on, off, on, off. It doesn't matter, you know, I can point this anywhere. I'll hold it behind my back, take my word for it. I'm holding it behind my back, so it's not like line of sight or anything. So you can control things remotely. Now this isn't a smart device, so it's not a mobile phone. You can also use this for individual switches, the same control by selecting the buttons at certain times. It does also have a switch on there that you can press. See the button there? I can't really reach it at the moment, not without knocking the camera, but if I press that, that'll turn it on, or if it's on it'll turn it off, so it'll toggle it. I'll just see the light comes on when I turn it on there. Easy enough to set up. You need two LR44 or AG13 batteries, like button cell batteries are going here. A little bit difficult because it's got a spring in. I won't open it now, but two batteries of these button cell batteries go in the unit there. I'll put some details about this down here, but basically what I've got it for is for my computer here, computer system here, when my computer's down under here. Now is it worthwhile me moving around a bit? Because if I turn the computer off here, it doesn't totally turn it off. It's almost like it goes on a standby, even if I knock this main switch on the top. Now there is a bigger main switch, but that's at the back, at the bottom of the computer, and it would mean dragging the computer out, turning that switch, pushing it back in probably, and doing that every time I wanted to like totally turn it off. But there's some lights in this computer inside on the motherboard and such like that glow and do all this fancy stuff. Now I don't bother with them personally myself. I think it's a bit of novelty, but all that's taking power. Even when it's turned off, on there's a button on the top that'll shut down the computer and turn it off. That's taking power. There's also a router that's behind this monitor over here, the second monitor I've got, that's taking up power when even if I turn this off, and those are on all night. Now why I've got this is because my socket is down underneath this desk, which has a, oops, I'll press the button there, see, let's turn that off again. It's down underneath this desk at the back, and it's like a piece of wood almost going down the back of this desk, and I have to get down on the floor, reach up to the socket, and then press the switch if I want to turn off the router and this computer. Now I'll give you a warning about, well, I'm with Virgin Media, I don't know about other routers, but it can take maybe 10 minutes to reboot the router after you've turned it off. Yeah, 10 minutes. Modern technology, isn't it great? Anyway, so what I plan to do, instead of reaching round and turning it off for the night time to save that energy that the router's using, I think is about 40 odd watts. I'll show you just now anyway. Oh, you might, can I turn this? Sorry. Turn these lights off. You might actually, can we see that? Just a second. This monitor might be, you might just make out a light there, or the router behind there. Virgin Media, good service, Virgin Media, so far as I'm concerned. Reliable, pretty fast. Give you more speed than they advertise, actually, not like some services will give you less. Might not be a lot, but it's a little bit. Anyway, so I'm going to move this unit here underneath the main socket that powers this computer and the router. Okay, I'll do that off camera, and like I say, it doesn't need line of sight, so even if it's behind this piece of wood that goes down the back of this desk, that I have to reach, I have to get on the floor, reach up and then feel for the socket. Bit dodgy sometimes in a way, really shouldn't be doing that because I can't really see it. I have to reach up and press the switch if I want to totally turn the power off. But with this, I should be able to turn the computer on and off. Now this device will go almost 3 kilowatts. Right, so it's got plenty of power it can take, this radio controller, so it says. And the computer doesn't take anywhere near that. The router doesn't either. Right, let's get this moved about, then I'll come back, I think. Right, I've got my power meter plugged in this extension which goes behind the desk I was talking about here. What's happening there? And it's, you see the wattage there, 114, 115. Got a computer monitor on as well. So the computer's on at the moment. I'm sure that was lit up better than that. Just a second, was it because of the backlight? Ah, there we are. What's happened there? I don't know what happened there. Anyway, you see it's 130. It's varying a bit. I don't know why it's varying. But I'll shut this down and show you the power, like the standby power. So I'm just going on the Windows 11 I'm using here. Shut down. Okay, turn the monitor off, excuse me from getting in the way there. Right, it's basically shut down now. Now this will drop. There is a like electric shaver rechargeable one plugged in this same circuit, by the way, but that's all that's plugged in. Oh yeah, there's some speakers down below, that's right. So the speakers as well are going to take a bit of power. So it's the router that's on, the computer is on. Well, even though it's turned off, it's still on. I'll show you while we're waiting for that to settle. So here's my computer, bit Fennec I think it is, case here, big job here, but see the lights on there, that's because it's got power going to this like USB type thing I fitted, card reader thing. I think it's more of a card, but yeah, well, a bit of USB I think on there. So that's still got power going to it, and there's lights inside this computer case. You can't see them. Pointless having them in this computer case because it's got panels on there, and there's like a wooden thing here for the computer desk. But that's all on. There's some speakers under here. Let's put the light on. Okay. There's a big woofer anyway. That's powered off it, the computer and the router, which is sort of round the back, round here. I don't know if we can really see that all that well. Just a second. Let me turn this monitor around a bit. I don't know. Ah, there we are. So that's a Virgin Media like router here. Okay. Let's see what the power's saying now. $26. Seems to stabilize about 25, 26. 25 and 26. So if I can get all this unit switched off with this in the back, I'll try and show you. It's actually, see this like wood coming down here, the socket's behind here, it's up under there, so I have to fiddle about if I want to turn the socket off to turn all this off. So I reckon that's going to save me 20, well call it 25 to be generous there, okay, 25 watts for however many hours I'm not using it basically, which is going to be 5 to 8, let's say it's 5, okay, so 5 25s, so 5 25s, okay, and I'm being conservative there, 125 every night. Let's call it 300. I'm just gonna, no, let's be a bit more, let's call it 350. Okay, just to be conservative, be generous, whatever. Oh, times 1, 2, 5. So 350 odd days a year. Alright, I know, I'm rounding it down. Times of 125 a night, okay? And that's been rounded down. Equals 48,000 watts. Sorry, 43,000 watts. And remembering I've rounded that down quite a bit, so we could be saying 50,000 watts, 50k a year going to save on this system if it works. Right, so that's quite a bit of electricity I'm going to save there. And at the moment it's about 30 pence a kilowatt. That's watts, don't forget. So we divide that by 1,000 when I can do it. Let me swap hands because by 1,000, where am I? So it's 43, well it's going to be more than either 45, that's for sure. Maybe even 50, pushing 50, going to save a year in watts. Now it's X, when I can do it, going left-handed again, aren't I? So I've got the 43 watts, remembering it's going to be more than that, and it is more than 30 pence per kilowatt. This is kilowatts. 43 kilowatts, well, you know, I'm just doing this very approximately. Is that many pence divided by 100 to get pounds? Oops, 100. So alright, you might say it's not a lot, but it's £13 a year that, you know, I don't need to use, basically. That's the way I look at it. Now imagine that this unit might actually take a little bit of power. Here's the instructions. Let's have a look at the back. don't know if it says. It's probably going to be minuscule. So it costs a minimum, and this is an absolute minimum, of £13 a year to do nothing, basically. Right, I'll show you that this is working. This doodah's here. Where's the remote control? Right, so see the red light on here, which indicates the power's on. And anyway, you'll probably hear it when I turn it on. So it's turned on there, and the router's coming on here. Now this takes, I would say, 10 minutes easy to fully boot up Virgin Media. Those have been slow to boot up Virgin Media. That's the only I don't know if that's a disadvantage with other routers or for the manufacturers. Those lights will change pattern there as it's logging on to the Wi-Fi and such like. But yeah, I can turn this on. You probably see the lights there now. See these lights inside? Fancy lights, and you can get them to change patterns and such like. Then the computer on. Now obviously you want to shut down your computer via Windows. And here's the power button here. If I press that, this light stays on. This power light stays on, so it's still getting power in this computer even if I press this big on-off button type thing here. Okay, so it's still using that power, and the router's on, and the speakers are on down here, I think. Yeah, that's if I just turn it off here. Okay, the speakers would be still on, the router would be still on, and the power for these lights, and a bit of power to supply them and what have you. That's not going to be a lot of power in there, I don't think. I think it's mainly the router that's taking up power here. But there we are, computer's on now. So I'm going to keep this remote control. This is my main computer on and off, well, semi-main in a way. If I press that, that'll shut down, well, turn off the computer. There's another switch which goes actually to the power supply at the back, but that's right behind here and it's at the bottom, and this is not a light unit. It's pretty hefty, as you can see. So I'm going to keep this remote control probably on that button, so when I do go to switch it off, I remember that I want to also turn it off on here to turn the power off and save me that little bit of money.